How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at the 10 most haunted train stations around the world. But before we do, remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our freshest content. Now let's get into it.
Built in 1915, Waterfront Station has a long history as one of the most haunted sites in Vancouver. Like most historic buildings, it's seen its fair share of drama and suffering, resulting in the appearance of lingering spirits and poltergeist-like activity. While making routine rounds, one guard witnessed the sudden appearance of a woman clad in a 1920s-style flapper's dress. Not only did he see this woman, but he also heard jazzy 1920s music, a tune that the flapper was dancing to. When the guard attempted to approach the woman, the music stopped and she vanished, leaving the guard in a state of confusion as to where she had gone to. Some activity involves more than the appearance of an apparition. Guards have reported frightening poltergeist activity. In particular, a guard on night duty entered a storage room located on the east end of the station as part of his routine patrol. Once he had entered, several desks that were stored there shifted around behind him, blocking him from the exit. When the guard turned around to discover the source of the noise, he was terribly shocked to see that the desks were the source of the racket and were now obstructing his departure from the room. He was so frightened that he didn't even bother moving the desks, instead climbing over them and running from the storeroom altogether. Other strange happenings have been reported by employees as well as visitors to the station. The apparition of a sad elderly woman in white has sometimes been seen standing in the station with outstretched arms, as if seeking help or comfort. 3 ghostly women have also been seen resting on a bench, awaiting a train from the past. One of the most frightening apparitions involves Hub Clark, a brakeman who slipped on the tracks one rainy night in 1928, resulting in his decapitation by an oncoming train. His headless ghost can sometimes be seen roaming about the tracks, swinging a glowing lantern from a ghostly hand. The Panteones metro station, located in the Colonia Argentina district of Mexico City, was opened in 1984 as part of an expansion of the Westward Line. Practically from the beginning, the station has had a bad reputation for being haunted, which is no surprise when you consider the fact that the station is located near 2 of the older cemeteries in the district, and the name Panteones means graveyards. Screams and loud knocking have been heard in the tunnels between Tacuba Station and Panteones Station. Workers have also reported frightening shadowy shapes in the tunnels, but they vanish whenever they're approached. In 2009, a frightening video was made that recorded the terrifying screams as well as the reactions of the frightened engineers who were working on the tracks at the time. These events are apparently not a one-time only. The frightful screams are heard in the tunnels on a regular basis late at night after the station is closed. Caobao Road subway station, located in the Chuhui district of China, has quite a haunting reputation that includes ghostly apparitions, malfunctioning train equipment, and even strange spectres that attack the living. Opened on May 28, 1993, locals refer to Caobao Road subway station as the Ghost Station because of all the strange happenings that occur there. There have been at least 9 mysterious deaths associated with Caobao Road subway station. One tale refers to the death of a man who was struck and killed while waiting for a train. Witnesses stated that they saw the man pushed off the platform and onto the tracks by an unknown force. Others stated that it was a bizarre figure that dragged the victim onto the tracks. The trains on this line often break down, but when maintenance teams take a look, the trains are found to be in perfect working order. Passengers often report issues with the doors on the trains, claiming that they refuse to open whenever the trains are at Caobao Station. Even the manager of the line is spooked by the bizarre circumstances surrounding Caobao Station. He refuses to visit the station and feels that a lot of the unusual activity associated with Caobao is related to the fact that the station is positioned near a neighbouring mortuary. Strange things are happening at Carlisle Station, located in Cumbria, Carlisle, UK. So much so that officials have hired paranormal investigators in an attempt to get to the bottom of the activities that are frightening staff and visitors alike. Employee Stuart Davidson has reported several alarming occurrences that happened in the tunnels that run under the station. He claims to have heard disembodied voices, to have been kicked, and to have seen objects thrown about when no one else was there. He also witnessed the appearance of a small boy who materialised out of a red mist, along with a ghostly dog, as well as the faces of two men suspended in mid-air. Other haunting activities have also been noted. Some have reported the frightening apparition of a veiled woman in the tunnels, while others claim to have seen the spectre of a headless man wandering around on Platform 8. Glen Eden Railway Station in West Auckland, New Zealand was specifically constructed to serve Waikumete Cemetery. Now a historical landmark, the original station was built in the 1880s, and the trains were used to transport both the deceased and the bereaved to the cemetery. Major restoration was done in 2001 with a cafe installed in the original station. During renovations, many workers reported sightings of an apparition in the station. It was thought that it was the ghost of Alec McFarlane, a railroad worker who died in 1924 when he was struck in the head by a mailbag hook on a passing train. McFarlane is still seen by staff members and visitors wearing a trench coat and sporting a grey beard. Alec McFarlane isn't the only spirit to put in an appearance at the Glen Eden railway station. Employees say that a gentleman wearing period clothing and a top hat has come into the cafe and requested a timetable for the train. When the employee turns to retrieve the train schedule, the gentleman disappears without a trace. Others claim to have seen the same ghost peering through the windows of the cafe. During the day, Macquarie Fields train station in Sydney, Australia appears to be a quiet location, with nothing unusual about it other than the fact that it's an older building having been built in 1888. But at night, the station takes on a darker atmosphere, with the appearance of its resident spectre, the blood-soaked visage of a teenage girl. Late in the evening, after the last train has left the station and the crowd is thinned out, the apparition appears and has been seen by multiple individuals. Sometimes she wanders about screaming, grasping at her chest, which is covered in blood. At other times, she sits on the floor, staring into space while moaning. But who is this sad, distraught ghost? It's speculated that she's actually the spirit of Emily Hay Gangerson, a 42-year-old woman who died in 1906 when she was run over by a train near Macquarie Fields Station. Emily was an unstable woman with emotional and mental issues. She managed to get away from a nurse who was assigned to watch her, and it's thought that she threw herself in front of a train, committing suicide. Macquarie Fields Station is yet another station that's been investigated by a paranormal team, this time Ghost Hunting Australia, who, during the course of their investigation, managed to capture photos of ghostly apparitions, as well as an ectoplasmic materialization. It's their intention to return to the station to conduct additional investigations. Built in 1923 and located in Phoenix, Arizona, at one time Union Station was the most important station in Phoenix. With the opening of an airport in Phoenix in the 1950s, Union Station went into decline, and it was closed by Amtrak in 1995, but is still periodically used for tourist trains and special occasions. Today, Union Station is the location of corporate offices and is also the home of a resident ghost known as Fred. The ghost received his name from Dudley Weldon, a maintenance manager who stated that the name Fred simply entered his head one day. Many people have encountered Fred, often seeing the image of a person sprinting away when approached. Others feel that Fred lives in the attic, claiming that they've felt his presence whenever they've been up there. Some actually refuse to enter the attic because his presence is so strong there. It's also been reported that Fred enjoys playing with a heavy door on the property. It randomly opens and closes, seemingly with no help from living human hands. Fred seems harmless enough to most who have experienced his presence, but there are still those who are disturbed by his interactions, particularly when a tap on the shoulder is felt by an invisible hand late at night. Leamington Spa Station in Warwickshire, England has quite the reputation for being seriously haunted. Built in the 1880s, the station is prone to supernatural activity that includes electrical malfunctions, phantom footsteps, and a variety of poltergeist activities. The haunting activity is so prominent that Chiltern Railways hired Nick Rees, a supernatural liaison officer who is an expert in paranormal happenings. Rees patrols the station on a daily basis, conversing with the spirits who reside there to encourage them to refrain from activity that would distress commuters and staff. Employees have witnessed paperwork flying about, doors slamming, and lights repeatedly turning on and off. While the activity can appear frightening to the unwary, Rees states that the ghosts are harmless. Still, Leamington Spa Station is considered to be one of the most haunted locations in England. Begunkoda train station, located in West Bengal, India, stood abandoned for 42 years because of a ghost. Begunkoda is a small village, and the loss of the train station in 1967 created major difficulties for villagers who wished to travel. The station was reopened in 2009 after locals appealed to officials for a reliable method of transportation in and out of the village. The troubles at Begunkoda station started in 1967, when an employee witnessed the apparition of a woman dressed in a white sari while patrolling the station. It was thought that the spirit was the result of a woman who had died in a train accident nearby. The station employee was badly frightened by the appearance of the spectre, and several weeks later he suddenly died. His unexpected death, coupled with additional sightings of the ghost by other employees, soon resulted in the staff abandoning the station altogether, refusing to work where an apparently deadly spirit wandered about. When the station reopened in 2009, railroad officials denied the existence of the ghost, stating that there were issues with some of the newer train models running on the narrow tracks in Begunkoda. They also claimed that the story of the phantom was created by the staff, who were displeased at being assigned to such an isolated station. They went on to say that the combination of the new trains and the disgruntled employees resulted in the abandonment of this station. There have been no recent sightings of the lady in the white sari. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at one of the most haunted train stations in England, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll be completely up to date with all our latest content. King's Cross Railway Station is one of the busiest stations in the United Kingdom, making it a central hub for travellers journeying across England and into Scotland. The station is well known for its appearance in the Harry Potter movies, but it's also known for a terrifying ghost that suddenly appears before frightened commuters, before disappearing just as abruptly. The ghost appears in the form of a young woman clad in contemporary clothing with long brown hair. She's obviously in distress, screaming loudly and reaching out, but she disappears as soon as concerned passers-by approach her. Quite a few people have reported encountering her, while others also report the odour of smoke in the passageway where the woman was first encountered. It's thought that the appearance of the distressed spirit may be the result of a devastating fire that occurred at King's Cross Underground in 1987. 31 people lost their lives in the fire, and it's speculated that the apparition may be the ghost of one of the fire's victims. The hapless spirit is still periodically seen, even today.
Well, there's another episode in the can. Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you love what we do and you want to support our channel, consider pledging on Patreon. There's a link to our feed in the description box below. 100% of the money raised goes back into developing our channel. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.